everybody, welcome to GeekLab. Walsh here. It's been a while since I've been able to give you anything newsworthy from the Marvel or DC universe, or really any universe for that matter. I've been wanting to do one of these episodes for a while. It's not necessarily new news. Some of it is. It's more newsworthy type stuff, at least in my opinion. Normally we do the podcast with crickets and we go back and forth with certain topics, what's trending, blah, blah, blah. I want to try to do this on YouTube to show you the articles that I'm reading, to give you more of a visual. So if you want to look this stuff up more on your own, because I'm just going to do a broad overview, you can do so. And I guess we'll just jump right in. One of the big things that happened this year is Comic-Con. It got canceled due to the coronavirus. Okay. Normally it's in San Diego. It's the big Comic-Con event that happens. Now it's going to be Comic-Con at home from July 22nd to the 26th. What amazed me with this is that there were 350 separate panels spread over the, how many days is it? 5 days. So it's spread throughout the entire thing. That's a lot of panels. And when you look at the program, so looking at this first day, the Wednesday alone, which is usually not a crazy day, they already have a jam-packed schedule from 3 to 6? Yeah, 3 to 6. Interesting things, teaching and learning with comics, teaching graphic novels, and then getting into Thursday stuff, that's when you'll start to see some of the eye candy. You got the X-Men fandom surprise party, Amazon Prime Video type stuff. It seems like a lot of streamers are going to be utilizing this Comic-Con. There will still be some Marvel things, but it's definitely more streamer stuff. I looked over this a few seconds before. Looks like there's some Marvel information here. Marvel 616 on Disney+. So Marvel 616 explores how Marvel's rich legacy of stories, characters, and creators exist within the world outside your window. So it's a documentary type thing that's going to be on Disney+. Something that you'll see here, if you skim through this on your own, not a lot of DC stuff. We're going to talk more about DC Comics in a little bit. They're doing something a little different this year, all right? Something that I saw that was in my news feed that I thought was interesting, Avengers 5. Apparently there was an Endgame Easter egg that may tease an iconic comic crossover for Avengers 5. I knew this Easter egg. They've talked about it before. I don't know why this is resurfacing. I don't know when this article is from. Oh, actually it's from the other day. Okay. I don't know why it's resurfacing. The scene when he's holding the building. So it's actually from Secret Wars. They've been talking about Secret Wars for a while. If you guys have no idea what Secret Wars is, I am not going to ruin that for you. You have to go ahead and check that out. Awesome storyline. If they were to do something like this in Avengers 5, that would be amazing. Absolutely incredible. So just a little read here. Secret Wars number 4 included a storyline that left Avengers HQ in ruins, kind of like Endgame. All right. Now the Russo brothers are really big fans of this storyline. They said that they would return to the MCU if they could do a Secret Wars movie. So if what this article is saying here, that such an obvious Easter egg in Endgame likely isn't a coincidence. Were they hinting that Secret Wars may be looming in the future? The Russo brothers and anything Marvel, they always mesh well together. Whether it's obviously the Infinity War, Endgame, or some of the Captain America movies, Civil War, and Winter Soldier, they mesh well together. I would be surprised if they were to take a story like Secret Wars and not use it. Again, not going to talk too much about that. I don't want this to become a spoiler issue for you guys. Definitely check it out. Read the comics, okay? If you know that it's going to be a Secret War, if we find out later that's going to be a Secret War, I would still go back, check out the comics. Great storyline. Love it, love it, love it. So the article goes on here that Endgame was Russo's final MCU movie, but it's hard to imagine that they won't be tempted by Disney and Marvel Studios at some point. Makes sense. And I said this already, but historically they've been called upon to direct the bigger MCU films like Infinity War, Captain America Civil War, all that good stuff. A Secret Wars movie is right up their alley. They know these characters, they know what to do with them. It makes sense for them to do some kind of Secret War type thing. Again, definitely check that out. I would not be too upset about that. Something kind of random that I thought was interesting that not a lot of people know about. Marvel acquires Alien and Predator comic franchises. I don't think this has anything to do with the movies. I don't think all of a sudden you're going to start to see some Alien and Predator type stuff appear on the big screen. The article that I have here goes on to say that they were formerly housed at the Dark Horse Comics. So Marvel is actually going to be in charge of creating the next wave of comic book stories based on these two things, both Aliens and Predator movie franchises. I don't see any collaboration. Doesn't really make sense to do something like that when Marvel has so many characters still to explore. but they had some new concept artwork that I thought would be kind of cool to show you guys. So obviously we had the Predator here, staying on top of the Avengers. Let me zoom out so you can see a little better. Here's the first one. I thought that was cool. And then they had the alien inside Guardians of the Galaxy. They can reference Alien in was that Infinity War? Spider-Man had a little thing about him. Yeah, pretty big characters. Again, I don't think it's going to impact the Marvel Cinematic Universe too much, but a little bit of news for you. So another piece of information here is Marvel's Iron Man VR. It's coming out to PlayStation. I don't have a PlayStation, so I wasn't really paying attention to this type of news. It came out July 3rd. If you get a chance, check out the videos. I don't know if I can play those on here. I don't really know what the rules are for that type of thing. It looks pretty cool though. As far as VR goes, VR could be a little clunky and stuff at times. Looks like Ghost is the main. That's Ghost, right? Yeah, it's Ghost. So Ghost is the main antagonist. I don't really know how that's going to work for this storyline, but I thought it was really cool. You have a pretty big cast of characters from what this was saying here. Obviously, you're going to have Nick Fury, you're going to have Pepper Potts, so on and so forth. So here we get a little preview of what it looks like. He's whizzing through the city in VR. This looks awesome. I would definitely want to try this game. Right below here, they say, okay, so it's going to be different types of environments where you're going to have S.H.I.E.L.D., helicarrier, downtown Shanghai, Stark Industries facilities, and many, many more. It looks really cool. Again, I don't know if I'm allowed to play videos and stuff. I don't really want to get in trouble. Check this out. If you have a PlayStation especially, I think you'd get a kick out of it. But yeah, moving on. DC. We talked about DC a second ago when we were talking about Comic-Con. They're doing their own thing. So DC Fandom. So now that San Diego's Comic-Con 2020 was canceled and replaced with a virtual one, Warner Brothers actually took the initiative and said, hey, we're going to have a separate DC themed online only convention. It's just for us. They're calling it the DC Fandom, and they say that it's a free, quote, immersive virtual fan experience, end quote. It is a 24-hour long event, and it's going to be held in late August, August 22nd. If I go to the website here, yeah. So if I go to the website here, this is actually the DC Fandom. So it's a mega 24-hour global immersive virtual fan experience. It looks really cool. I'm actually more excited about this than the Comic-Con, and I'm more of a Marvel guy than a DC guy, and I'm saying that. So if I'm saying that other DC people are gonna go nuts over this. Looks like they have a bunch of contests going on. In the weeks between now and then, we'll also feature exclusive articles covering all facets of DC fandom, from games, TV, movies, and of course comics. You can find links to some of our most recent in the carousel below. Yeah, this stuff looks awesome. So going back to here, I think this explain what we're going to be looking at here. Yeah, so this article goes on from IGN. Given that this event looks to be taking the place of DC's Comic-Con panels this year, we're expecting to see new footage from some of these projects, along with casting news and other announcements. That's what I want to see. Yes, Comic-Con looks awesome. I've never been to San Diego Comic-Con. It's on my bucket list. But this looks really good in terms of being online. And since it's DC only, they keep it just within the DC-centric thing. I don't know what to call it that. It's going to be good stuff, in my opinion. So we could see early teaser trailers for the Batman. You could see something for Suicide Squad, which I'm dying to see what James Gunn has done with that. They've been teasing another game in the Arkham series, which I want to play at some point. Let me know if you guys want me to do that. And then you could also see the CW, where as an opportunity to reveal the new lead actress. That's coming up in a second. But yeah, they have opportunities to really do a lot here. The DC Fandom has my vote. I think that they could do a really awesome job with it. In the same vein, the DC stuff, this is breaking news, but as you can see, this article is from a couple months ago. Zack Snyder's Justice League cut is coming to HBO Max. Yes, this is not new news. Yes, it is newsworthy. A lot of people didn't know about this. Obviously the hardcore people, and I'm sure there's some hardcore people in our audience, they've been dying for this. They've been craving this Snyder cut of Justice League. He didn't actually finish the film. Something happened in his family that he had to attend to, and Joss Whedon, I believe it was. Yeah, Joss Whedon had to finish the film for him. So we never got the full Snyder Cut, and they say that Whedon took out a bunch of different stuff, tried to make it more lighthearted, and that made DC fans very upset. Yeah, so the article that I have here goes on to say, while Snyder is credited director of 2017's Justice League, the film was finished by director Joss Whedon, prompting a social media fan initiative to hashtag release the Snyder Cut. I see this all the time when I go through certain articles. People have been going nuts for this since 2017. Now, Justice League, the movie, didn't really take off in any respect, both critically and in terms of the box office. But they keep saying Zack Snyder's cut is the best cut. We want to see what he has. So the article goes on to explain everything that we already know. Justice League represents the first time the superstars of the DC universe were seen together in live action on the big screen and starred blah, 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 blah. But yeah, so this chant that's been going on that they're talking about here, the chant, hashtag release Snyder Cut. I love to see stuff like this. Let me tell you why. I like to see when fans want something and they're constantly poking and saying, hey, we want this, we want this, we want that. Don't do this, we want this, bring this over to us, we want to see these two people come together, so on and so forth, that the higher ups actually hear them. And that's what this higher up was actually saying. So the chairman said that the fans have asked and we are thrilled to finally deliver. At the end of the day, it's really about them. I love to see that type of stuff. I talked about this before in a past podcast about Sonic, when the first trailer came out and it was absolutely abysmal, and the director like stopped everything, redid everything, and the movie came out 10 times better than it ever would have before. This creepy possum looking thing. It's important that they listen to the fans, that they do what we want to see. Now this is coming on HBO Max. HBO Max is a streaming service that are going to house a lot of the DC stuff. It sounds like they're going to rotate in certain stuff, like so Shazam for a little while, and then they'll have Wonder Woman for a little bit. I don't know what's actually staying. It sounds like it's on some kind of rotation. So I have another article here talking about Zack Snyder's Justice League cut. He says it's going to be an entirely new thing. Now it goes on to talk about, okay, it is going to be HBO Max. That's what I said before. Possibly in a 4-hour director's cut or in 6 TV style chapters. I personally would rather do the 4-hour director's cut, but I could understand how other consumers and other people would rather have the 6 TV style chapters. It sounds like a totally new film based on what it's saying here. Yeah, and this goes on to talk about a growing movement of fans rallied by the hashtag release the Snyder Cut. I hope it's something good. Some of the stuff that he's teased before, this is technically not, I guess it is a spoiler, but it's out there. So if you don't want spoilers for this, I would just mute me for a couple seconds here. He talked about Darkseid being in the film. He's talked about more with Superman, because that was, people felt a little gypped with the evil Superman. I'm doing quotations in the air like I have a camera on me, but that probably doesn't help you out too much. I'm actually impressed that they're doing this. It looks like it's going to cost between $20 million, could be closer to $30 million. It's awesome that they're doing this for the fans. They're hoping to get a bunch of people, and I'm going to be very excited to see that. Again, more DC stuff. Michael Keaton in early talks to reprise Batman role for DC Universe, starting with The Flash. Okay, so Michael Keaton, he was the first one to play the big screen version of Batman. This was back in, actually it says right here, I don't know why I'm trying to do this off the top of my head, 1989 and then 1992, okay? What they're suggesting here is that Keaton would play Batman in a Nick Fury type role. So he'd be the one that brings them together. So this article goes on to say Keaton would play Batman in a Nick Fury role, starring with Warner Brothers' The Flash, starring Ezra Miller, and could continue to play the Dark Knight and other upcoming films like Batgirl. It sounds like this is totally separate from Matt Reeves' reboot of the Batman with Robert Pattinson. I don't know what they're going to do. DC doesn't really have a solid timeline like Marvel does, and I don't know if they necessarily want one. I personally would like more consistency, more of a timeline, but I can understand how that's kind of difficult to do. Another article here. So how Michael Keaton's Batman and Flashpoint could save the DC extended universe. This is what I was just talking about before. Continuity is never a major thing for the DC extended universe. They tried to do it, but it got too messy when they were banking on Justice League to really take off. Obviously it didn't, it flopped. You had Suicide Squad, technically a flop. I like that movie, but whatever. So I'm curious if this will lead them to having a more concrete timeline or help guide the franchise into some way. They're also talking about how he's going to play a role in The Flash. If they do a movie on Flashpoint, I'm going to lose my mind because I've been wanting them to do that forever. They have an animated version of Flashpoint. You should 100% check that out. I think it was on Netflix for a while. It's definitely on the DC Universe app if you guys use that. I don't know if it's still, I doubt it's still on Netflix. I watched that a very long time ago. So he could potentially, and again, this is really early talks. This is just he said, she said type stuff, but it could potentially lead to something pretty big with Flashpoint. So this article goes on here. Return to Batman Returns. Okay, so the Flash movie will apparently reveal what's happened to Keaton's Batman since Batman Returns, where he was last seen pining after Catwoman. That's the most exciting possibility. They could go anywhere with this. It's the DC Extended Universe. We saw when they do some certain crossover type stuff, like with CW's Infinite Crisis, where you saw the small screen Flash and the big screen Flash overlapping. I would love to see something like that on the big scale. If they bring in someone like Michael Keaton, who was the first big Batman, and somehow integrate that into the plot and it makes sense, people would love that. To have a story that started actually back in 1989 and it somehow circulars to 2022 or whenever this is coming out, and to have Michael Keaton kind of ground the DC universe and give it more continuity, more concrete facts, that would be awesome to see. And I would love to see Michael Keaton suit up as Batman, or maybe do some kind of Batman Beyond, older Bruce Wayne type thing. So going off the Batman news, we have a new Batwoman. We had Ruby Rose, who is playing Kate Kane on the show, and now we're gonna have Javissa Leslie play a different Batwoman. I've only seen the first 10 episodes. I think there's a picture right there. I've only seen the first 10 episodes. I think there's 20 in the season, so I'm about halfway through. I liked it. I really did get a kick out of it. A little dark, grittier, like an Arrow type thing. The villain was absolutely bonkers. If you haven't already checked it out, I definitely would. So she's going to be the first black actress to play the iconic role of Batman on television, and she's also going to play it as a bisexual woman. And she said here, "I am extremely proud to be the first black actress to play the iconic role of Batwoman on television, and as a bisexual woman, I am honored to join this groundbreaking show, which has been such a trailblazer for the LGBTQ+ community." So this is fairly new news. The one thing I want to talk about with this character in particular is she is not replacing Kate Kane. They're not just going to swap her out and say, oh, there she is, totally different actress. It's going to be a different Batwoman, so it's going to be a different storyline. I don't know how that's going to work because I don't know how they left it off. That's on me. I got to check out the finale, but I don't think that CW had enough time to plan for a new Batwoman where she's going to take the mantle and pass it on. I'm curious if they're going to have Ruby Rose come back and do something with that. I don't foresee that happening, but I don't know. I don't know how she ended things with CW. It didn't sound terribly well. But yeah, very excited to see that. I'm curious if they could do it relatively seamless or if they're going to have some kind of issues with continuity or other issues that DC has. Okay, so I talked about Marvel, DC stuff. Time to mix up a little bit. We got some Pokemon news. All right, so a couple weeks ago, they announced a new Pokemon game. So called Pokemon Unite. It's a Dota-style arena battler with Pokemon. If any of you guys play League of Legends, this is a game for you. So they announced a Pokemon Unite. It is a team-based game. This will be on mobile. It's also going to be on Switch, and it's going to be free to play, which is my type of game, as you know. Again, I don't know if I can show videos. I should have looked that up before I could do it. I'm assuming I can't. There's some kind of copyright rules with that. Just search Pokemon Unite. So you're going to work in teams, again, with 5 versus 5. You have to take over different regions. You can catch wild Pokemon. You level up. You evolve. It's just League of Legends with a Pokemon twist. This was greeted with mixed reviews. Some people said that, hey, this is just League of Legends with Pokemon, which I guess it is. The Pokemon company always puts their spin on stuff, so it won't be exactly the same. I'm interested by it, and I like that it's free. I love that the Pokemon company does that, where we obviously have like Pokemon Go, where it's all free, and it creates more of that online community that I've been trying to get on my channel. No news on Pokemon Sleep, which I know everyone was really, really excited about. I still don't know how that game's gonna work. So yeah, like I said, this is my first run through of doing a podcast type episode on a YouTube platform. Let me know what you guys think. If you have tips for me, if there's different ways you want to see the articles. If you like this, give me a like, please, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I'm hoping to do some more of these type of videos. They take a little extra work, a little more research to find the stuff, but this is more of my forte, where I like to talk about and share and just geek out with you guys. So again, be sure to like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Peace.